Oh yeah, oh yeah. Can I sing for you? All of my friends are bosses, all of my friends are ghosts. We ain't stressing about no losses. I'm stalling, we ready to go. I'm in dope company.
Hey guys, welcome to In Dope Company. My name is Samira and I'm your host for today, and I have three lovely people with us.
Courtney, aka CB, Virginia State University, and a member of Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Kayla Life, aka K, or Life, depending on where you've met me and what walk of life you've met me in. Founder of K Candor Squared for twice the expression of double the honesty, and founder of Safe Haven Incorporated, putting the human back into humanity. Graduate of Spelman College.
James, a graduate of the Virginia Union University, educator and business owner.
Alright, so today guys, we're going to be talking about a lot of different topics today, so looking forward to getting your views. But we're going to talk a little bit about Cardi being Offset, but we're going to talk about more specifically their relationship and how it's kind of transpired these last few weeks. Let's talk about what do you guys, what's your input based on what was talked about with Cardi B and her first video saying that they're not together?
We knew that. We saw that coming.
Why you think you saw it coming?
What's that from Atlanta? What? We saw that coming. That was never gonna last. Period.
Why do you think that?
Why do I think that? That's experience. That's what I know. None of these, and what can I say on this show? Can I be free?
Yes.
Great, because none of these Atlanta niggas is shit. Period. None of them. None of them. Not a single one. So it was cute. Wow. It was nice. The whole proposal, Big Rock was like, oh my God, it's so, the rap couple of the year. Those that have experience know.
Right, so we know that it was a sham.
We know it was a sham. And then what happened? He was fucking a big booty bitch. That went viral and everybody saw it, and it was like, oh my God. Offset. Real niggas knew. Duh. We knew that. They all do that. What did you expect? You really expected Offset of the Migos to be faithful?
There's always a possibility that someone could be faithful. It depends. I'm thinking about the person. Maybe Cardi caused that to change the way he looked at things or the way he did things. No? Okay, by your face, I'm gonna say that's a no. Okay.
Sorry. Come on.
Okay. What do you guys think?
I mean, I personally think that I personally feel like they was good together. However, I do feel like it was a little bit of a setup. It just so happens that they get married, pregnant, she drops the album, she becomes the hottest thing since any female artist, probably since Missy Elliott, all in the same year. So I do kind of feel like it was kind of a little bit of a setup, but I do think that they're good together. She's her own entity. She's very ratchet and she's very proud of that. He's very hood and he's very proud of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like
Ratchet and Hood came together.
Yeah, that ghetto love. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's almost like that ghetto love, and I thought that was kind of cool. You know what I mean?
What do you think about? What about you, James?
I feel like they're young. To be quite honest, we don't know what the future holds for them. They work for each other, and he's in a place where I think Offset's 26, 27. Cardi's 23, 24, something like that.
Cardi's 26.
Okay, they're the same age. Regardless, they're still trying to figure that out. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to figure themselves out in the same sense. It gets to a point where guys, they know what they want, but it's still temptation out there, and it's one of those things that I know that I want to settle down, but I know that I see this bad chick right here, and if it's a chance that I won't get caught, then you go out there and you do it in the back of your mind, knowing that you have somebody good, knowing that you have somebody that checks off every box. You just sit there and it's the thrill of it, right? It's to do those things, it's thrilling, and I think that they'll be alright. I think that the problem is they're too much in the public eye.
Right.
If they want it to work, but if they want it to work, they're gonna make it work, and that's just that. But it might just be a whole setup. They had somebody come on stage pushing "Take Me Back," all of that stage, all of that setup. So we don't know what it's about.
That's really good you brought that up. So let's talk about that, because that was her publicist that basically helped orchestrate that whole situation. So how do you feel about Offset's apologies. To me, it reminds me a little bit of like how Robin Thicke did it, and trying to like sing a song and try to get it back. And Shorty was like, "No." What do you think about this one? Do you think this one is still staged, or you think it's more of a sincere? Because he made a tweet, if I'm not mistaken, saying like, "I put it out. What I did, my transgressions was made in the public, so therefore now, I'm going to make a public apology as well." So, what do you think about that?
I mean, I definitely agree with the public apology, especially since he messed up in the public's eye. But I feel like people, they do things in their own right. Like if he were to have apologized in a regular way, maybe it wouldn't have came off as sincere, because that's not him. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, Robin Thicke did it through a song. He's a singer. That's his thing. Or you see people all the time apologize on social media, and then we wonder why are they doing it on social media? But that could just be how they communicate the best, or how it comes off, in their own right. So, I mean, personally, I don't really dig too much like into it. But if he were to make like a rap song, I'd be like, okay, well, that's Offset. Like, he's an artist, he's a rapper. This is what he does. This is his art. So,
what do you guys think? You want to add on? Agree? Disagree?
I think that Offset can take his apology and move the fuck on. Like, that's what I think that he can do. I feel like, honestly, when I saw that, I felt a number of different ways. Being a person that's been in a situation that has been put on public eye, or public eye amongst my peers, with a toxic breakup. And anyone that has been in a toxic relationship sees clear the fuck through that shit. Sees clear through it. You're doing this for attention. You're doing this for people to pressure her to take you back, and that's not fair. That's not fair. And then not only that, you taking a moment away from her. She was the first female lead artist for that concert, for the Rolling Loud. Mm-hmm. And now people won't remember her performance. They'll remember you coming out and, Offset made this big grand apology. Cardi B. It's not going to be about, you've made this about you. But that's what toxic is. It's not about me. It's about you and what you need. So no, I'm not really fooling with Offset's apology or the way that he's going about it or what he's doing, because at the end of the day, you're still considering yourself and you're not considering me. I do understand the need to say, okay, well, I messed up in public, I'm gonna apologize in public. Fine. Don't take my moment though. Like, don't take something away from me so that you can do what you need to do. Figure something, write my damn name in the sky. That's public enough. Like, you ain't got to come on stage and take that from me. That wasn't fair.
That wasn't fair. What do you think about that, James?
I don't know Offset. I don't know Cardi. I don't know what she likes. I don't know what she's into. I don't know what Offset's into. So therefore, I don't know exactly what works for them and what doesn't. I think it's not fair to force or to pass judgment in a situation like that where Offset is like loud. Like, we know that. Cardi is like loud. She's out there, right? So, like, in the grand scheme of things, he probably thought in his heart of hearts, like, this was like pure, and this was like this was like the best way to apologize. Like, he sat there, and those roses that he spelled out, "Take Me Back," were very expensive. So it was like an expensive gesture on his end, and he's like, "Yo, you know what I mean? This is it. I'm a winner back. Like, I'm a winner back. This is my chance." Like, in his head, he probably thought that. He may have thought that, like, "Yo, I'm doing the right thing, and I'm not necessarily like." I'm responding publicly. I humiliated her publicly. Mm-hmm. Like, this is like one of the biggest stages to do it on. Like, why not? Like, I'm pretty sure if he didn't do it there, he probably would have did it at the Grammys. Well, at this point, it's like really, yeah. But at this point, like, we don't know like what she likes. Like, I think a lot of people are associating themselves in those situations, and it's just like, Cardi's young. Like, let her be young. Like, a lot of people mad at the video that she just made. Like, she's young. She's gonna grow. She's young. Like, period. Like, she's fresh in this game. Fresh out the strip club into the rap game.
True.
Got the #1 song on the billboards, making crazy numbers, like doing whatever her thing is. Like, she's trying to figure it out, and she's trying to stay real to who she is. So it's like, it's gonna be moments like that. Offset, like, of course he had baby mamas, but like, for us, like, this is Offset's first public relationship. Like, we've never seen a public relationship from Offset. Like, this is our first time seeing that. So I just think that, like, we really don't know what works for them. Like, and obviously she's back with him now, right?
Yeah.
So, like, if she's back with him, like,
Clearly.
It worked. Something worked.
Something.
I think that, like, I agree to that statement, but when I look at the video from Rolling Loud, she was not feeling that at all.
Of course.
Like, she was, like, the anger that I saw from her, I was trying to read her lips to see what she was saying to him, but she wasn't feeling it. So I feel like if her response wasn't anything but loving or anything of that nature, then I can gather from that she's not that kind of person. She's not the kind of individual that would want some grand gesture like that meant nothing to her. Because if it did, right? If it did in that moment, if it did, then she would have responded to him differently.
But life is filled with trial and error, right? And like we sit here and we try things, and if it don't work, we try again, right? And in that case, like that was something that he tried. Obviously, I don't know if it worked, but it left some type of impression on her to where she could even consider, like, yo, you know what? He's out here making a damn fool of himself.
A damn
just to get my attention back, right? Just to get me back to where he once had me. So like maybe it was you know what I mean? Maybe it was just a little janky, you know what I mean? Maybe it was a little trashy, but that was his way of doing it. That's what he knows.
Yeah, I think we're critiquing because of what we would have done in that situation. It's almost similar to like how Gucci Mane proposed to his now wife, where he was just like, yeah. Where I'm looking at it like, okay, I would at least got down on one knee,
right?
Something, but he's like, yo, he's coming from like the hood. He's probably never been to a marriage before. He's probably never seen a proposal before. So he gonna do what he knows. So same scenario, like Offset, he probably like, you know what? I'm in love. I probably never felt like this before. So let me do what I know, or let me do what I feel is right.
That's true. And you know, Kayla, you brought up I think you brought up something I really wanted to talk about today. You talked about like the toxic relationship. Like, what do you mean when you talk about a toxic relationship and you felt that and you understood like that idea of toxic? Like, can you define what you look when you look at toxic?
Toxic is relative to the relationship, right? Like, toxic presents themselves in different ways. In my personal life, I've been in a total of 3 toxic relationships where I recognize either one, you're trying to control me, and just can never happen. Or 2, you're trying to push me in a direction you know I don't want to go. Like, you know beyond a shadow of a doubt, like, this is not where Kayla sees her life. This is not what her goals are. This is not what her future is. But goddamn it, this is what I want. So this is what I want her to do. And because of the individual that I am, because of how I operate in a relationship, if I'm with you, I'm with you. You know, I was raised on a foundation that, you know, the man is the head of the house, right? So the people that I was in the toxic relationship, coincidentally, were the people that I thought that was the it for me, right? So I operated in that wife manner. Like, my man says we're going to do this is what he says he's going to do, then I'm going to make it happen. So if you're telling me as my man or as my counterpart, as my protector, this is what needs to happen for our life, for us to be set up, I trust you in that, right? But it got to a point after about the second toxic relationship that was like, ooh, see, I've been through this before, and this is not, you're not going to lead me into a black hole, my nigga. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, I can't trust what you're going to do if you're not giving me anything to trust, if everything is just words. Mm-hmm. If you're just saying to me, oh, okay, I'm going to make this happen, and we're going to do this, and I'm like, I got you for this, and I'm going to make sure your nonprofit is here, and make sure all this blah, blah, blah. And then when it gets to the point, you have ghosted. You have gone, and it's an excuse. It's oh baby, I'm gonna make it up to you, I'm gonna do this, I'm so sorry, now I'm on the stage of Rolling Loud, and now you're giving me roses. Like, that's the kind of stuff that makes it be like, you know what, this is not it, right? And then when it comes to the point where now you have messed up, right, you have cheated, you have lied, but for whatever reason your mistakes are now my fault, that's toxic. Because I didn't make you go fuck that bitch. I wasn't there. Like, I wasn't texting you. I wasn't like, yeah, ooh, baby, slobber down. Like, I wasn't doing that. You did that on your own. That was your decision. But I'm just supposed to be like, you know what? That's who he is. He's still growing. I'm supposed to accept that. Mm-hmm. At the sake of my own mental health and my own mental status. So now I'm questioning myself and my worth and my beauty and what I am because of something that you did. And instead of you protecting me as I would want my man to do, now I'm questioning who I am. That is toxic.
What do you guys think about that?
So, you say you were in 3 toxic relationships, right? I think my thing or my spill on that, 3 toxic relationships, right? Like, it's all about your choices and the decisions that you make in those situations to allow yourself to be in 3 toxic situations. I know, like, I break it down like this. When you play a video game, right, or any kind of game, right, and you get to a specific level, and when you're at that specific level, you realize that, like, yo, every time you go left, this happens, right? So you restart that game, you play that same exact level, and you go left again, right? Then you realize that you lost again. You go back and you restart that game again. You play that game again, and you go left again. It's the choices that you make that you have to sit here now and analyze and take time for yourself and realize that, like, yo, you know what? What I look at as being toxic, I gravitate towards that. And I have to shift my mindset on what works for me. Right? And when I realize this and I get to a place where, like, I understand my mindset shift, then and only then am I able to sit here and to realize, like, my worth and my value and, like, what I can offer and what I can bring to the table, or what I want someone to bring, or how I would like someone to invest. But after so many roadblocks, it has to get to a place where you got to look at, like, taking a different route.
And I agree with that. And so the thing about growth is that it's progression, right?
Most definitely.
So with growth and understanding yourself and being self-aware of who I am and going on through this journey, my toxic relationships did not last as long as the first one. The first one was 5 years, the second one was 1.5 years, and the next one was 7 months. Because each and every time I learned something, right? So it's not, I think it's unfair to look at it as like, oh, you're doing something wrong. No, I'm recognizing the signs early and I'm reacting quicker. Right? So the first one is like, okay, this is the love of my life, this is what I'm gonna be with, boom, boom, boom. We've now gotten engaged, we're about to get married, and I'm still ignoring the signs out of love. And then the second one, you recognize, ooh, you're feeling the same way. And this happened with the first one, don't do it again. And the third one happens way quicker, you hit the sign the first time, and you don't even allow it to go any further. Like, it's a growth, it's a progression. So we cannot say, oh, you're doing it's like Kanye blaming people for slavery, like saying, oh, slavery doesn't exist and you're gonna push yourself there for the next 40 years, that's your fault. No. Sometimes you are just attracted to people. It happens. But what needs to happen is you saying, you know what, this individual that I'm with right now reminds me of this person, but what is it that is it the action or is it the person that I'm being reminded of? And if the action is the same, then that's when you recognize I need to move away. People are not going to be the same. People are never the same person. But if they're doing the same things, it's perpetuating a cycle of the same habits. And I am in the process of reteaching the universe how to treat me. So I'm not going to accept certain things. I'm not begging for attention. I'm a goddamn catch. I don't need to do it. So either you're going to give me what I want and we're going to figure this out, or you can go left and I can go right and we're going to be fine.
So then would you consider the second and third relationship as toxic if you caught it prior to getting involved in that same situation over again?
I would still consider it to be toxic because the level of manipulation was the same. You attempted to manipulate me the same way.
But what I'm saying is you caught it early.
I caught it early.
It's almost like a cold. It's like, you know, you got the flu the first time, you started feeling yourself getting sick. The second time, you was like, all right, let me take something preventative. So now you didn't get sick. You was about to. You started coughing and sneezing, but
the illness is still there. The illness is still presenting itself. So whether you treat it, it's fine. You treat it earlier, then that's fine. But it's still there. It's still present. It's still prevalent. How would you know there's an illness if you didn't have the symptoms? Now I'm just catching the symptoms earlier, but it still doesn't make it any less toxic than the last relationship.
So when we think about that in the Offset situation, the Cardi B. Just want to like bring that back in so we can really get deep into what we really want to talk about today. How do you feel in that relationship when talking about in the regards to toxic masculinity, like when you see how his response is similar to like what James was talking about and what you was talking about, Kayla and CB as well, talking about like his gestures was about him, like he put himself in it. He didn't think about her, he didn't think about what she thought. Remember, we said we don't know them, so we don't really know, like, does she like big gestures, does she not, does she? But based on, like you said, when you see the video, you saw her mouth. It was kind of like, yo, why are you on stage? Like, why are you here? Like, when you think about it, it's kind of like you said, we don't even know. The brother could have showed up to the Grammys at this point. And we were looking at the situation like, yeah, great that they're back together. But when she first said it, she was talking about how, like, they've been working at it for a very long time and that they're not together. And they're, just be patient when she, brought it out to Instagram and let everybody know. Like, how do you feel that, like, in his regard, like, of that toxic behavior, do you think he exhibits those toxic behaviors that you were talking about, manipulation based on his actions? Let's go based on his actions only.
But see, that's also relative because we don't know all of his actions, right? Like, we know what's being shown in social media, we know what's being shown in public, but we don't know what's happening in their private life. We don't know what he's been saying to her, what kind of... in actuality, I feel like, me personally, I knew something was up because you stopped seeing pictures of them together. You stopped seeing little subtle things, but that's just because I'm observant, right? When it came out, it blew everybody out of the water. Like, what? You guys are not together? What are you talking about? What happened? I thought y'all was good after the little video. It was fine, right? But at the end of the day, we don't know what they've been working at, what they've been doing to even get to this point. Right? She said it herself. I've been trying to work it out with my baby father, but it's just not working. So, but we don't know what the work is, right? So I don't really have a clear. I can't comment on his actions because I'm not dating Offset. I'm not with him, and I don't see him all the time. I don't like James said, I don't know his actions. I don't know that. So it wouldn't be fair to compare Offset to anyone that I've dated in the past.
I'm in dope company.